Hello, everybody. Welcome to Timesphere, where we have timely discussions that are never on time. Scott, we are very late to this episode. However, that means we have a lot to talk about, whether that's good or bad. And so, this week isn't terrible. This is it's like a solid mix of like good, bad discussion this week, I'd say, compared to like previous weeks where it's like leaning more bad because we lead off with like the discussions on stupid shit.
I mean, there's always stupid shit. We have to. I think we need to do better in finding more good shit to talk about.
Well,
there's
I
always
think
good stuff in the gaming industry.
I think our end goal here, and as we've said to our audience before, is that our end goal is more so, hey, we're not necessarily trying to be like your news source. We're trying to just have discussions about like games and esports and whatever the fuck else we want to talk about. So with that in mind, we're doing a very bad job of like balancing that, but that's also because we throw together this list like the day before the podcast records, and then I edit the podcast the day before it goes up, and then the podcast is up, and then we rinse and repeat. So, because I've been very bad about like, hey, let's try and get guests on. Like, I have a list of topics to have with specific people, like whether that's you on the podcast too, or just me bringing people on, and then you find people to bring on to talk with you, or whatever, where it's like, hey, we're going to talk about like, I got an episode to talk about like remakes and the culture of remakes in gaming, and like should remakes be the way they are, or should they always try and be more like Final Fantasy VII, and how Final Fantasy VII remake is handled, that where it's very, very similar and samey, but it does distinct things that make it a unique piece of media that you can play alongside the original without like taking away from it in a way. That kind of stuff. Obviously, like I want to talk about like the consumption of games and like the weird way people have to consume media in this era of like content creation and stuff. Because for us as like people in the media have had to change our way of doing it, both when we were in the media, when we had to pivot to different styles of writing and different types of content. But that also includes like binge culture. That also includes like, trying to be part of the zeitgeist of like, oh, this game's out, I have to beat it within a week so I can talk about it online and be like involved and avoid spoilers, or anything like that. Like those kind of conversations are important to have, and I think those have places in like the digital media landscape that a lot of people like. I mean, there are way better video game podcasts in terms of not only just news but also discussion based stuff, but a lot of them only focus on either the video game news element, or they only focus on the discussion-based stuff in terms of, we're going to have like this topic this week and it's going to be related to this game, or it's going to be related to this platform or something. They don't necessarily go off the rails and have like, I don't know, I wouldn't even call it like a TED Talk style discussion, because that's not what I'm talking about. But they don't get it in the nitty-gritty on like just people sitting around their microphones and like waxing poetic on their thoughts on how they consume media, or how they watch an esport, or their thoughts on like a specific scene like that. And also like esports interviews and just like interviews in general. Like both of us have done tons of those in the past, and I want to get back into doing those. But that involves legwork, which neither of us have a lot of time for.
No, definitely not. It's still, it's still a learning process. I'd like to think that for people who still do this, who've been doing this for a lot longer and like do it as a job and professionally, that they're always still learning too. And we're very much the same. And yeah, like it's just for us, it's we don't have the benefit of like, oh, we can just do this as like part of our job, and this is something that like, we have all the time in the world to prepare for. But yeah, it's mostly we do it because it's fun. It keeps my brain fresh. I don't get to do as much like creative writing and like beat the pavement kind of journalism that I was doing in my yesteryears. Just because I'm on the PR side now. So this is kind of my way to get back into it, but it's also because I don't do as much journalism, as much of my own research and writing and stuff like that anymore. It's, I don't know, I just feel like the cogs aren't as greased as they once were, and so also just because I'm old, so that is also never helping. Which is why I'm so good at golf games now, because I'm old.
True,
so
yeah.
we are. So yeah, I mean, like, but it's still fun to do this show, and it's important to have, like the gaming industry doesn't advance, or it's not interesting if everyone's just having the same conversations and the same talking points. So our little thing, is it the biggest thing in the world? No, but it's a little different, and we like it and it's fun. So we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, that's like the biggest question I have when people are like, I had some people trying to compare numbers in a conversation recently, and they're like, why aren't you trying to like why aren't you doing shorts? Why aren't you doing why aren't you like clickbaiting your headlines more, or your thumbnails more? And I'm like, I explained my creative process to them, and for those of you who've listened for a while, you know my creative process. I just explained it, where it's like it's a 3-day process of like an hour of it's like an hour of anything I read in a week, going under the dock and discussing with Scott of like, hey, do we want to talk about this or not? It is then we record for about hour and a half, 2.5 hours, somewhere in there, and then I spend around that same amount of time editing. And while I'm editing the video, I think, oh, that would be a funny bit, and then I make the thumbnail, and then I throw together a headline that I think might work without being too clickbaity, because I don't want to be the clickbait headline and thumbnail person. So this is purely
there's enough of that. We don't need to
yeah,
add to
like
it.
the last week was arguably the most clickbaity I've ever gotten with the thing, because I did a DLSS on DLSS off meme with Reinhardt and the main character from Crimson Desert. Because we talked about Overwatch and we talked about Crimson Desert. But yeah, no, I just like I enjoy having these conversations. Scott and I get to catch up, like, because Scott and I play games together all the time. It's not like we don't talk and hang out, but this is an opportunity for us to like talk about our former work and like catch up with that without actually having to then like just keep sending each other articles or whatever, and then having discussions in our Discord chat or whatever. It's a better format for doing this. And then I get the same benefit of like when I stream, a lot of people that come to my stream ask questions about like the games industry or bring up news and stuff. So I get to talk about that live while I'm playing games, which is a nice other outlet for that. But this is very different. This is like a camaraderie element versus the people on my stream are asking, and then I have to give my opinion based on like journalistic whatever, because that's just where I'm coming from a lot of the time when I have an opinion on stuff for the industry. But speaking of the industry, Scott, this shit expensive.
Oh yeah, it really is.
We are in a very, very. I mean, I want to preface this by gaming has always been like console gaming and PC gaming for the most part. Outside of like if you just are on a budget rig or you're just gaming on a laptop that you have for work or whatever, is a luxury.
Or a mobile gamer, because that's
true too,
and that's why, because like, we know, I for work I'm looking at mobile gaming industries a lot, because we deal with titles like Mobile Legends Bang Bang and Honor Kings and all these things. These have huge player bases. Like you forget, like when you talk about total worldwide global gamers, the amount that mobile gaming makes up with that is staggering. And when you're just players like, when you guys like us who just play on console, play PC games most of the time, play these bigger games, you forget about that. And so, like, I mean, I've been trying. It's funny enough, I've been trying a little bit of the Division mobile, and like it's fun to like sit in bed. It's fun to sit in bed and play Division on your phone, because it's really easy to pick up and it translates really well. And it got me to re-download the Division 2 again for PC. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this game is really fun. But yeah, but the benefit is like, ease of access, like low cost to get into. But if you want to get those, the bigger games, the big consoles, the PC gaming, everything's just so much more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, and it varies, because like there's ways to get into gaming that are much more affordable now than they ever have been before. But most of that comes like from a mobile perspective, or you have to find people to look into, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to get this budget build, or I'm going to find a way to play these games on like a Chromebook or streaming. Like cloud streaming is an option for a lot of people if they have decent internet. Secondhand stores, retro handhelds, ROM handhelds where you can just play a bunch of older games on those. A lot of like you can get ROM like a handheld that you can customize and stuff for $60 that'll play everything through like PS1. So if you want to play like Game Boy and a bunch of that kind of stuff, there's really easy ways to get into that. You can also do that on your phone. Like there's accessibility is not the issue. It's the main element of the industry that is not mobile, where it's like, okay, consoles, PC, anything like that is now at a premium because of all the memory hikes, all the other like just everything that's going on in the various industries that coalesce into the gaming industry also. Like obviously we talked about it a couple weeks ago, where it's like Nintendo suing the United States government because of the tariffs and how that has impacted their ability to ship product, especially in the United States and the rest of North America and everything like that. Now we have Sony announcing that starting late last week that the PS5 base PS5 digital consoles and PS5 Pro are all going up in cost. The base PS5, which released as a $500 console, is now $650 because it had already had a $50 increase earlier late last year. So now the base PS5 is
the base PS5 is $650. It was $550, but I don't think this is according to GameIndustry.biz, but I don't think that it takes into account its original launch price of $500.
It's $500. Yeah.
The PS5 digital edition was $500. Now it's $600.
And I believe that was $450 originally.
PS5 Pro, I don't know what its original price was, but it was $750. After this increase, it's up to $900.
I think $750 might have been the original price for the PS5 Pro. If not, it was another $50 price increase. I think it was a $50 increase over the board.
And the PS Portal was $200, and now it is $250. It to me, this signals a few things. First is that we're not getting the PS6 anytime soon, because I feel like that this wouldn't happen if the PS6 was right around the corner.
No.
It's going to be a long ways off until we get that. To me, this also could be, I'm thinking, is this a way for them to, because this kind of accomplishes something else, in that it is going to drive, and maybe it depends on when the do we know if these price effects have these price changes have gone into effect already? April 2nd. So they just, so my guess is maybe for like a week, it then spurned people to like, you probably got a little bump in people like, well, I should go out and buy one now before it goes up. So they probably got a little uptick. And then for people who are like, savvy consumers, and it feels a little manipulative to be like, oh, now it's at a better, now like, oh, get it now before the price goes up. But
I mean, if anything, that's what people are. This is not spurning people to buy the. I mean, you're probably right. There are people that are like, I better get it now in case it goes up again. Like I was waiting too long, and now I got to buy it now.
Or just like, or people who've been like, I've been on the fence about it. I've been thinking about it. It's like, well, I should get it now, otherwise it's going to get even higher, and then maybe I don't want to get it. So yeah, and then. I mean, the big mover for this is still going to be, for this year, is still going to be GTA 6. So I think getting this, I think Sony recognizes that. I think they wanted this price change to happen well in advance of that, because they don't want to they don't want to be like, because there's a chance GTA 6 could be $80. So like if there's a company that can get away with making with pushing up the,
there's two, and it's GTA and then it's Nintendo, and Nintendo already did it. So
so GTA seems like that. GTA, this is like saying GTA could be even higher, and so if people want to avoid like the double whammy, and so Sony doesn't want there to be a double whammy of like, well, if Rockstar decides to make it $80 or $90, and then at the same time now the base PS5 is $650, and now you're up to $750 just for the PS5 and GTA 6. If you're would people still pay that
Probably.
price? I think yes,
people still will,
but I think there's also gonna be a big portion of people who are like, we're on the fence, who are like, you know what, this just feels a little bit too rich for my blood, and I'm gonna pass on it.
With this,
the one thing, but the contrast is that, what's the alternative? Buy a PC? Well, that's gonna be $1,000 or more if you want something that's like as good as like a PS.
Yeah.
That's comparable. If you want something comparable to PS Pro, it's going to be even higher. Of course, a PC game comes with all the other benefits of it. You have a massive library, all the different platforms you have access to, all the other use you get out of it. But yeah, it would obviously cost.
I cannot believe that the PS5 Pro is now $900. Like, that is insanity. Like, that's like,
yeah.
If anything, they should have bought. Well, I don't know what their philosophy is on this. Like, the fact that they bumped that $150 is wild.
I think what we see here And I heard Grubb explain this on Game Mess Mornings on Friday, and I think I kind of agree with him. I think he has a good sense of these kind of things. Is that it goes up now because they want to get well and ahead of when GTA 6 comes out, because they want to have the double price increase with that in the game. But then that's going to come out what, September or October is the estimate right now?
September's the date right now, I'm pretty sure.
And then you get a holiday price, and it's going to come back down a little, assuming that maybe stock is better, or like the cost of materials is better, or all these other industries that, like you said, are connected to gaming kind of improve a little. And then now GTA 6 is out. Now it's like, oh, now, like, yeah, here's the thing. It'd be funny if it just ends up going back to 750, but 750, like, here's the thing. You know what looks, if you have two price tags and one just says 750 and one says 750, but it was 900, now it's on sale for 750.
We already know the trick of the mind for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And so that's what I think they'll probably do when it gets to holiday time. They'll bring it back down for a holiday price, maybe even go a step lower. Like, oh, now it's 700.
They'll probably do 700 plus a bundle or of some kind.
Yeah, it gets GTA. Yeah, it goes back to 750, but GTA is included. That would be my guess.
Well, I don't know if they have the money to get that deal going.
That's a good point. Yeah, GTA 750, but a big game.
2 years from
now, game is included.
2 years from now, once we're getting around to the PS6 announcements or whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna do PS5 bundles."
Oh, they'll do what am I saying? They'll do a Wolverine bundle. If they're gonna do a bundle, they'll do a Wolverine bundle.
That'd be a good one.
It probably won't be 750. It'll probably be like 800. That'd be my guess.
Whatever,
for like a pro and Wolverine. Yeah.
So,
but yeah, it's expensive.
This is expensive. The thing I think this might actually do is get people to look back at like the Series S, the Xbox Series S, because like I don't know what Xbox's prices are right now. I know they went up, at least for the Series X.
Is the S or the X is the better one?
The
right?
X is the X is the actual console. The S is the all digital that people that isn't quite as strong. So I have a Series S. And that people still make, like, it still runs every game. Like, it might not have the X optimizations, but it still runs every game. So if people can get a Series S that will still run GTA 6 for like $350,
a Series S with half a terabyte of storage is $400.
God,
which is 200. It's still kind of expensive, but it's $250 less than a base PS5.
Yeah, and I know if you want the comparable to what a PS5 is right now. I think it's like 550, 600 for a Series X. But
a Series X. Oh, actually, a Series X is $650, which is the same price as what the PS5 is now.
Yeah. Okay, so that's comparable. So the
Series I'm sorry. That's the Series X with a disc drive is $650. If you want the Series digital X with that digital, it is $600. So it would be $50 less than what a base PS5 is now.
Okay. Well, I know the Series S, like,
but that's the X. That's the X, which is the higher tier version of the Xbox compared to the S, and that's the same price, or if you get digital, even cheaper than the base PS5. And obviously, and then an additional $250. Less than the PS Pro.
No one's looking at the Pro. The Pro is like Persona non grata right now. Like that the Pro is crazy.
The Pro probably had a little bit of a tick of people who saw it was going to go up and said, you know what, I have a PS5.
Yeah, I know people were talking about it. Yeah,
there are people who had PS5s who were like, you know what, I'm going to get the Pro and maybe I can sell my PS5. There's even one who lives in this household. She's not here right now, but that's exactly what my partner did. She's like, well, I'm gonna get a Pro before it goes up and sell my PS5, and she's pretty happy with that. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say happy about it because of the cost increases and all that, but she's like,
especially now that we don't know
there's no better time to make this. There's no better time to make this decision. So
there's no better time to get in on it than before these sales. And that's like, this is now the second time this has happened for Sony. Xbox had it happen twice in the same year. Like I said, the Series S is still like the best deal at that price point. I mean, you're not getting all the enhancements, and some games might not even be playable on it. I haven't looked at like the list of like, are all of these games still playable on the S compared to the X? But like, I'm sure GTA will probably be playable on that machine. So that might
it has to be. There's no way.
And that might be what people look at, because it's going to be so much cheaper. And who knows what the deals might look like closer to when it releases, because Xbox might try and get a leg up on Sony in terms of deals around when GTA starts coming out, because they're already losing that on that front for the consoles. So maybe they'll try and take a little bit more in the red to try and get more people to get on the consoles then, but who knows?
I'm pretty out of the loop in terms of like what the better console hardware is between a Series X and the base the base PS5. Like, what do you think will run? What do you think runs games or would run GTA 6 better?
They're both the same. They're both the exact same.
They're both the same.
That's like asking. It's like Xbox 360 to PS3, Xbox One to PS4. Like, they don't have, like, PS2 to Xbox is probably is probably the worst explanation of it, because the Xbox came what? I don't even remember. Like, the whole point is, like, these consoles really so closely together, and they have so much of the same, like, infrastructure, especially nowadays, that they all run, like, these games are basically just the only reason they have different code is because they have specifications on, like, do they use do they use the haptic on the DualSense, or are they optimized for this controller, or like are they optimized for this system in certain ways? Like, that's the main difference. So, and obviously that's not all of it, but taking into account, like, hey, we're gonna, like, which one runs better? They're both the same. It's the same as, like, if you have a decent PC that runs all these games, they're running them all the same. Like, you can go look at a spec sheet and be like, how will this game run on PS5, Xbox Series X, or like a generally pretty good PC? The baseline's probably the same. The one you got to look at is the Nintendo Switch 2, because that is much different hardware and how it operates, and that's why you still can't just go, I'm making this game for PS5, I'm making this game for Xbox Series X, I'm also going to release this game on Switch 2. Most games can't just be like straight line.
It depends. I mean, it depends on the kind of game. Like a smaller indie
that's
title,
what I mean.
something
Most
like
games,
double A,
most
those,
games can't
but like
just
we're
be
talking about like a GTA 6,
GTA
it's
6
not just like,
cannot.
oh, and here's our Switch 2 port.
GTA 6 can't even do it on PC because they want to optimize it for PC. So it's being optimized for consoles first, because they know that's their main demographic.
It's not coming out on PC day one, right? It's just console. Yeah, because they did that for 5. They did that for 5, right? Yeah, I remember now. Yep.
They know their demographic. They're going for the console demographic, because that's where all the casuals who love GTA are, which is why this is such an important move for Sony did this strategically.
But they also know PC fans will wait for it, and they'll get it,
or they have a console already if they're a big enough GTA person. But the whole point is, Sony strategically did this to where it's a month and a half-ish after their last showcase, and it's about a month and a half-ish before their next showcase, because their next showcase is going to be June. We just got the announcement today that June 7th is the next Microsoft Xbox showcase, and then there's going to be Gears of War E-Day thing after that.
That's right.
So we're starting to get confirmation for the Summer Game Fest time period. So we know June 7th is going to be Microsoft.
Coming up.
There's going to be a Sony one either before or after, and that's going to be the big summer one that shows off the game, the big Sony game that's coming in like July, the big Sony game that's coming out in August before September hits and we get Wolverine.
Yeah.
So October is GTA, by the way, because it's not launching same month as Wolverine. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So that's what they're banking on, this being middle ground between those two, where the games are announced. Mm-hmm. And then maybe post that, they can get away with, like, we're releasing this new bundle, this new Wolverine bundle that's going to be, like, maybe it's just a $650 deal with Wolverine bundled in. That's probably going to happen. And then that bundle will decrease in price. That'll be the holiday bundle. That'll decrease from $650 to like $550. It'll be $100 off. So that's what they're doing.
That's what. Yep.
Now Nintendo, like, pretty soon after this was what, March 25th. So this is actually before the Sony announcement. Nintendo confirmed its US games will cost more physically. So this has been coming for a while, and some of the games have already been doing this. But basically, like, Donkey Kong Bonanza retails for $70 already. Mm-hmm. Mario Kart World was $80 physically and digitally. But now Nintendo is doing this thing where it's like the physical versions will cost more, and the digital like basically the physical versions will cost $10 more than the digital version. The digital version will cost $10 less, because I think they're doing it with Yoshi and the Mysterious Book.
Yes. So they're doing it for Yoshi. It'll cost 10 more in physical. This is something that hasn't been happening in the US. It has been happening in the UK.
Yeah, UK has already been. Has been happening everywhere, but I think Japan and the US. Maybe even it has been happening in Japan. This is just something that's new for US.
Now, is this just going to be for new games, or are they going to go back to games like Bonanza and Mario Kart, and are they going to cost more physically?
We'll see. Who knows? Okay. No one knows.
No. Here's the thing. This is from Nintendo, and this is from Andy Robinson of VGC. Beginning in May 2026, and starting with pre-orders for Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, new Nintendo published digital titles exclusive to Switch 2 have an MSRP that is different from physical versions. Nintendo games offer the same experience whether packaged in digital format, or in package or digital format, and this change simply reflects the different costs associated with producing and distributing each format and offers players more choice in how they can buy and play Nintendo games. As always, retail partners set their own prices for physical and digital games, and pricing for each title may vary. That being said, you're not gonna have like a Target or GameStop be like, oh, actually, we're gonna keep this at the same price.
Yeah, unless they're doing their own sales, they're not doing that kind of
stuff. Because these increased costs means it's more expensive for them to get the game from Nintendo, which means if they were just keep it at the same price, they'd essentially just be losing $10 of profit for every single copy of the game. So no, it's gonna go up. It's gonna go up with the price.
Yeah, and people are like oh, what if the tariffs happen? Like, what if the tariff thing goes through and they get that repealed, or they get money back, or whatever ends up happening? This probably isn't going to change after that. Yeah. Like, we'll see. That's the big question mark. This is going to be like luggage costs when luggage started getting charged. Like the new postal service charge that's going to start getting added, where it's like once the stuff like normalizes, once the markets normalize a little bit post whatever in a couple of years, none of this is going to go away. It's going to stay the same because they're making money.
Once they realize that they can,
once they realize things haven't changed,
that you'll pay for it, they'll keep going.
Now, this is also bringing in more people questioning, okay, what does this mean for the Switch 2 price? Because the Switch 2 price, as we've kind of figured out over the course of Nintendo's comments for the console, it's like, okay, they definitely baked in the tariff cost to the original console price. And because then we saw it with all the peripherals going up $10 post tariffs. So they kind of baked that into the console price already. But does this mean the Switch 2 is bound for a price increase? Because people are like, oh yeah, well, is this the time to buy your Switch 2? And I'm telling my friends, like, if you have the money and you want to buy a Switch 2, now is the time to get it, because it's not going to get cheaper than this. We already know the Switch didn't really go on deep discount.
No.
Well, it was out, like, it had $100 off at, like, towards the late years.
Yeah.
So
late in the cycle.
With that in mind, like, if you have the money to get a Switch 2, which I know a lot of people don't, but if you want to get a Switch 2, now is the time to do it, because the price probably will go up depending on how things continue. Because even with a bunch of the AI stuff kind of floundering, like, we know that there's like some questions about like how much the RAM will actually be purchased, like all this invisible RAM that doesn't exist, that was essentially being marked for sale to all these AI data centers. A lot of that might not happen, because we've already seen some of these companies backtracking on, like, stepping away from kind of front end sales to do private sales. So if they try to step up, first off, I can't remember the name. I think it's Micron is the one that people are the most pissed at. If they step back into the limelight of like front end sales to consumers, don't buy their stuff unless it's just like way cheaper than everything else. Don't buy their stuff,
it won't be.
I know, but that's just saying, like, if it is, like, if it becomes the most affordable version of it, if that's the case, then whatever, do what you got to do. But don't give the companies that are like saying screw consumers to go sell to the AI companies. Don't give them your business. Go buy from other people. But this is kind of the first sign of like, oh, Nintendo prices are now being affected on physical side, which, to be fair, Switch 2 cases look like ass. So collectors aren't thrilled about the Switch 2 cases. Now they're going to be more expensive, and like most of some of these games don't even come on the cartridge. They're just codes. They're just access keys to get access.
That's what I was saying. Like, a lot of them, exactly. The game's not on the cartridge. It's key. It's a key, and you still have to download it anyway. So, like, on one hand, like, I understand that, like, it is cheaper for developers and companies just to give you the game digitally, just you buy through their store, and they also start downloading right away, and they get a bigger cut. So obviously this way also, I mean, this price increase also encourages you as a consumer to do that,
Yeah.
and that's better for them because they get a bigger cut. It's lower cost. For me, I've never been a big like collecting physical
I
games
only
kind of
collect games I
person.
care about physically now. I
And
don't have space.
there's really and like I mean the games I care about the most, not like it's like I play like Counter-Strike and Rivals, and we've been playing, and I don't like value like hard like physical stuff, like it's
also, so
like I just don't have a lot of like physical stuff in my life. Like I have I have this bookshelf that doesn't have that many books on it. And that's it. And like I don't need like a big, like I used to have, like my old childhood closet has like a bunch of like old like CD cases for like Backyard Sports Game, like City of Heroes MMO, and like the original WoW CDs and things like that. And the only things I kept from those are like the original booklets, because I thought those were cool. And they like I missed the days where you got like a big like little pamphlet guide that had everything you could learn about the game. I always thought those were cool, and we don't have them anymore. But the actual like disc and the case is like, I don't care. Like it's just, and so like for me, it's always just been a thing to buy digital easier. It sucks that, I would have preferred like, hey, maybe like digital costs a little bit less, but no, it's of course we knew this is going to happen. Physical is going to go up, and it's not going to go back down.
So my point is, like to your point, I'd rather collect books or like figures or like something cool to like that's actually like a statement piece to a shelf versus just like games. I buy Pokemon games physically. I buy like very specific games. Like I just got a deal, or if there's a deal, which so like I got like Neo Fantasian, the Mistwalker RPG that used to be a Apple Arcade exclusive, had a physical deal for the Switch version. Got that, and then I got Armored Core 6 physically for PS5 for like $15. It's like good deals. I'll do that if I can get a good deal. Or if it's a franchise I really care about and I have a shelf for it. Because I've got a Nintendo shelf, but it's mostly old Nintendo stuff. Like my Switch section is very small. I have like the steel book for Metroid Prime, or not Metroid, Metroid Dread, which is like the only real statement piece for that. I've got all the Xenoblade, Xenosaga, or like all the Monolith games physically, but I also have a shelf of that because I also have the art books and the CDs and like the figures for it. And then I have a Pokemon shelf. I don't have like shelves for a lot of stuff. And most of the time I'd rather buy other merchandise for the games than spend more on the games physically. But also I'm in the mindset now where it's like, okay, well, why would I buy on console at least? Why would I buy a bunch of games digitally on a console if they're available digitally on Steam? Because I know the Steam library carries over everywhere versus the console library, not including like modern systems now are better about it because they're all the same ecosystem basically. Where it's like PS4 is on PS5, PS Vita is on PS5, Switch is on Switch 2. So all those games are still playable, but they're still locked to that ecosystem. So I'm now like I had a question of like, okay, the game that I was playing on stream earlier today, it was same price on Switch and same price on Steam. I bought it on Steam, mostly because that's the first place I saw it, but also because I know that if I want to play it again in the future, easiest way to do that is I can play that on any system that can run Steam.
Which will be, and there'll be more of those in the future. I feel
you can play you can play PC games. Like the PC is the best ecosystem just because it is an ecosystem that has existed for 30 years, 35 years, and everything eventually will become available on that ecosystem through ROMs and through everything. So it is just the most accessible ecosystem in general. So if my advice to kind of wrap up this like section on pricing and digital. Or not even digital, but like this pricing and like the affordability of gaming and stuff. Invest in the system that you think you will use the most. That's my advice to you. If you are a Nintendo person like I am, like if I had to choose one system to be on right now, obviously like I play Marvel and I would lose out on Marvel Rivals and I'd lose out on Super Battle Golf and stuff. But if I'm just as a gamer looking at the system that I would get the most use out of for the most franchises that I care about, and I also get access to third-party stuff, I would choose Switch 2. Because I know most of the franchises that I care about, plus a bunch of third-party stuff and a bunch of indie stuff is going to be available on there, and that's the best deal for me. But if you're a GTA person or a sports person or whatever, PS5, go with PS5. Or if you just want the most access to everything and like other ways to enjoy things because you can use your PC as a streaming service machine or whatever else, then get a PC if you can. And there are good deals. Don't just because there's affordability issues with like a bunch of gaming stuff and PC stuff right now, don't think there aren't good deals out there. If you look for them, even like physically, like your local like if you have a Micro Center or if you have like a Best Buy, they have decent deals on like some hardware. Like you can get pre-built PCs that are still pretty good machines for like anywhere between like $800 to $1,200 that'll do what you need them to do. Now they're not going to be top of the line like stuff that everybody would recommend, but if you do your research, and there's a lot of places that you can go, there's YouTube channels that literally go do price comparisons. They'll go buy laptops and buy PCs from different places and compare them so you can find out what the best deal is for you. There's tons of resources out there. So if you're looking for a new machine, whether that's a console or a PC, and you're worried about the price, go try and do your research just on YouTube or whatever. There's better places to do it, but if you don't know where to start with YouTube and then go from there. Because there are still deals that you can get outside of like just waiting for like Black Friday or like some kind of sale going on. So
yeah,
don't feel like you're excluded. But gaming has always been like this. Consoles have always been expensive to an extent. Just now it's becoming more apparent, especially as a lot of people are tightening the drawstrings. All right, Scott, I'm letting you lead this one. This is your discussion topic. You wanted to talk about this one.
Yeah. Which Lord of the Rings film do you think is my favorite?
The animated Hobbit movie.
No, it was pretty good, but no, it's not that one.
I don't know. I don't even know what one my favorite is. I always get the names confused in my head because I will tell you right now, you're gonna be happy. I started the audiobooks. They're my new workout book.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm listening to the Andy Serkis.
I was gonna say that's got to be Serkis doing and probably doing all the voices because of course he is.
Yep.
So actually my favorite is you may not have heard this one. It's Lord of the Rings, the two developers. Not the Two Towers. No, this is their apparently it's a big Lord of the Rings game in the works, but there's disputes on who's actually working on it. So this starts with a report from Mike Straw at Insider Gaming back in October, where he said that a brand new Lord of the Rings game was in development, that it was getting partially funded by the Abu Dhabi Investment Office. The funding was going to roughly equate to $100 million. They wanted it to like compete with Hogwarts Legacy. That was like a quote that Straw had gotten. And so that brings us to this past week. And there is a Polish gaming veteran who worked on The Witcher. I'm going to absolutely butcher his last name. Ryszard Janowski. Hope that's right. He's been in the industry for 27 years, and he was on a podcast, and he revealed that he had heard from credible sources that the studio working on that game was, in fact, Warhorse Studios, makers of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is also owned by Embracer, who, to my knowledge, still owns the rights to like make Lord of the Rings video games.
It's the video games and the board games and certain other rights that don't pertain to the movies and the books. If I remember correctly.
So he had heard it a couple months ago and didn't believe it, but there more was about it recently. And so it looked like, okay, Warhorse, obviously they Kingdom Come, big open world RPG, very, very, very successful games, very critically acclaimed games. But Mike Straw, who originally broke the report for Insider Gaming in October about that game being in existence, says it's possible they're working on that game, but they aren't the studio that are working on that specific game, the one that is being backed by the Abu Dhabi Investment Office and will be competing with Hogwarts Legacy. Straw says that Tomb Raider developer Crystal Dynamics is working on that Lord of the Rings game. This is what they've been doing alongside Legacy Atlantis and Catalyst, both the Tomb Raider games
because
they're to come out.
Support studios on both, so that's not like their full team ain't working on both.
So their full team could be working on this new Lord of the Rings game. And I believe, to my knowledge, Crystal Dynamics is also an Embracer studio, so that would also fit with the. So, like he said, it's not since Straw was
I'm fucking them over.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, here's the thing: it could be either one or both. But regardless, it seems like someone is working on a big new Lord of the Rings
Or
game,
two,
which I'm
maybe two.
happy, or maybe two. It could be two. I mean, we're getting two Tomb Raiders in the same year. Maybe we get two Lord of the Rings games. I mean, we've been without like, God, when was the last new Lord of the Rings game that wasn't a Monolith game, that wasn't Shadow of War?
Was it the updated version of the MMO?
Oh God. Was it Gollum?
It was Gollum.
It was Gollum. There was going to be a second MMO because there is an ongoing. It's Lord of the Rings Online. It was originally made by Turbine, who are like a Warner Brothers game. I don't know if Turbine still exists or if they're just doing like support. I applied to a job at Turbine, and they used to be based in Needham, Massachusetts, and I lived in Rhode Island. I walked to the bus stop, took a bus to the train station, took a train to downtown Providence, Rhode Island, took a train to Boston, took a train from Boston out west to Needham, got off at the train station, walked across a highway to get to the Turbine office in Needham, Massachusetts, interviewed, had a great interview, didn't get the job. So I was like, I spent a whole day just getting to this place. I didn't get the job. But back to the that was my journey to Mordor. It's
still better than Gollum.
It's still better than a game about me walking to that job interview would have been better than the Gollum game, that's for sure. But it's been a while since we've had a really, really good Lord of the Rings game, and obviously
there's a lot of IP that used to have a bunch of games that have just been kind of sitting dormant for a while. And I mean, obviously part of that's because like if they're going for bigger games, it's going to take longer to make.
Yes.
But we're also starting to see a lot of these IP pop up. We talked about it mobile gaming a little bit, and it's really weird.
Oh, the little Shire game. That's what I'm talking about.
Tales of the Shire.
Tales of the Shire, and that's exactly what you're talking about. We're not getting these big like Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War. Monolith. Monolith was a perfect name studio because that game was massive. It was huge. They were great. Don't get me wrong, and it sucks what happened to Monolith. And they've made some really cool things for that game, including the Nemesis system, which I've talked about. I mean, I think you feel like punching your punch card for the amount of times I've mentioned the Nemesis system. You're probably at 10 now. You get a free copy of Shadow of Mordor on me.
Or you can just go to your local GameStop and ask if they have any Gollum left in the lower drawer.
And then and it's like in The Hobbit where they go into the it's like the big waves of gold and treasure, but it's all copies of the Gollum game. There's a big dragon sitting on top of them, and he's like Smog, these are all worthless.
It's a giant like Animorph version of David Zaslav.
But yeah, I think whoever, I mean, Crystal Dynamics and Warhorse, two very different styles of games. Like one, obviously, Crystal Dynamics more like action game oriented. You know, they're doing support on the Warcraft games or Tomb Raider games. They've also did Avengers, which was like really popular amongst the few people who played it, but didn't really get that
very
big
fun game to play.
breakout.
Very messy game everywhere else.
Messy but fun. My Tinder profile. We'll see what this looks like. I mean, this seems like something that is going to be very far away for whoever's making it. I mean, I think if we don't get it's Warhorse this year, if Warhorse especially, I think like that, because if Warhorse wants to like really stretch their legs after the success of Kingdom Come and do something big, then we'll see.
This will probably come out at the same time as Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah, weird off thought I had because I was talking about Batman, my partner, the other day. In terms of like other games that I personally would want to play, games for me. This is welcome to the games for me section, everyone. A Batman Beyond game, just because, and like, well, I've always wanted a Batman Beyond game because Batman Beyond is really cool. But also, I mean, the setting is pretty much like a slightly toned down version of Night City from Cyberpunk, and it's like, imagine a Batman game or an Arkham style game set in essentially Night City from Cyberpunk.
Well, I mean, from all intents and purposes,
that would be Batman Beyond.
I mean, we don't know what Rocksteady's doing next.
Are up to.
We're assuming, based on everything we heard post Suicide Squad, that they're probably doing another Batman game in the Arkham
Yeah,
style.
they took a big swing. They a really big swing, and I mean, I've heard like that it's a good game. Like Suicide Squad was a good game.
Well, guess what, Scott? Me, you, and Desmond all own that game.
I own that game.
I'm pretty sure you got it for free off of
from like the Epic deal. Oh, I probably did.
Guess what?
You're probably right.
Maybe there's a Saturday stream where the three of us play Suicide Squad coming in the near future.
Are you saying we're some kind of Suicide Squad?
I'm saying we could be some kind of Suicide Squad.
I don't know how well we can get Desmond to work with me. He seems pretty upset about how Super Battle Golf went.
I don't think we can get Desmond to play games. I had this conversation
that aren't ranked Marvel Rivals or Marathon.
Yeah, like I've tried. I owe him a pizza. Like we went to go see the Mario movie, and I was like talking because he was like, oh, I could have just had you. We should have gone to pizza before the movie because I could have had you pay for me because you owe me pizza. And I was like, what, do I owe you pizza? Oh, right, because I bet that he wouldn't finish Ghost of Tsushima before the end of the year. And I said if he beats it before the end of 2025, I would buy him a nice pizza. That's a big
game, to be fair. That's a big game.
But he had already started it.
Yeah.
So I told him if he finished it before the end of 2025, I'd take him to a nice pizza place. And if he finishes it at all, I'd take him to just get pizza.
Yeah.
So I owe him a nice pizza dinner, but he has not played a single player game since. And it's been 4.5 months.
He's all burnt out from Ghost of Tsushima.
Bro, he plays Marvel Rivals. He plays whatever gacha drags him back in or whatever. He plays Marathon sometimes, and we played one night of Super Battle Golf. Those are the 4 games I think he's played. Those are the 4 games, not counting gachas because he probably did a couple.
Yeah,
but he's played 3 games this year, not counting gachas.
Well, we're gonna do more Super Battle Golf. That was some of the most fun.
If you haven't tried,
it's so much fun.
Okay, this is another PSA to people. This is another thing that ties back to pricing. Look for games not just on sale, but look for games, especially with friends, regardless of platform, that you've heard are fun. Because most of the time, like these, I don't like the term friend slop, and we say that every time, but we still run with the term. But like, Super Battle Golf isn't even really a friend slop game because I played Golf It. I love Golf It. Like that's a great game. But like a bunch of these games that come out that are just like, hey, it's a very simple kind of experience with your friends. You can get it for less than $12, and it's they're getting updates and stuff, and we'll talk a little bit about that here in a bit too. But yeah, like that, those games are worth the money. They're really fun. Like Super Battle Golf is an amazing game. We got it for like $5.50. Like it's a great game.
Yeah, it's a great game. But I guess this will kind of tie us into our one other big thing that I want to talk about, which is like, especially since we even brought up Suicide Squad a bit. We brought up Shadow of Mordor, and
I brought up Eclipse
Kingdom
too.
Come and Eclipse, and these games that so first just a bit of news on a couple games that are taking a long time to make and will probably still aren't coming out anytime soon. We finally heard something from State of Decay 3 from Undead Labs this past weekend. It's been like 6 years since that
trailer,
since the little trailer where it was like, it seemed a lot more like serious in tone, and there was like a zombie wolf, which apparently is not actually even a real thing. That was just saying that.
Well, the whole thing that I heard about this was that the trailer was about a game that didn't even exist at the time. They
knew they were working on it, big air quotes, but mostly they were just like probably still in the idea portion of State of Decay 3 when they put that trailer out. So if you're wondering what State of Decay 3 is going to look like, don't watch that trailer. Instead, watch this new 2-minute video that came out from Undead Labs just this past weekend. This from series co-creator Brant Fitzgerald. He says that most of the team at developer Undead Labs, quote, has been doing updates for State of Decay 2. But the rest of us have been creating cool shit for State of Decay 3. And that they are going to have a series of alpha playtests starting in May. For me, who played a boatload of State of Decay 1 and a very, very decent amount of State of Decay 2, glad to hear it. Love Undead Labs. Love playing those 2 games. I think the gameplay loop of building and expanding your base, going out and collecting resources, having like procedurally generated new survivors with permadeath, and like making decisions that affect the community, and then while you're driving around, you're like, ooh, like that could be a much better base, and it's like you gotta save up resources to move everyone over there. and just all of these cool things. The State of Decay 2 added a bunch of really cool things as well. I'm excited to see that. I'm also maybe that seems like we're more likely to see something sooner rather than later.
If there's playtests going on, that's internal. That's probably like inviting more people to join the ongoing internal playtests. So if that timeline checks out, that probably means we'll get official confirmation. We might see some more of that at the June showcase. Actually, if they're already doing playtests later this year, we'll probably get like an actual trailer with like a window, and then the playtest the internal external mixed playtest happens.
Yeah,
probably get another trailer next year with the date.
Yeah, they'll probably announce like a more public test or like more available test at the thing. Something we're probably not hearing about for a much longer time is Star Wars Eclipse. This is the David Cage Star Wars project at his studio name, which is Quantic Dream. This was announced at the Game Awards. Cale, you want to guess the year?
It was 2 years ago at least. Might have been 3.
Yeah, both are right.
Yeah.
2021. So this would be
not 3 years ago.
So the most recent one was 2025. So that would be 4, 3, 2. So that'd be
5
years ago.
Last year was 2025. So
right.
4
would be 1 year ago.
2, 1 4.
4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years. So four. It's been 4.5.
It's been
almost
4
4.5 years
since we saw the guy banging the drum that looked like it was from the International.
Big Dota fans over at Quantic Dream.
That would be very funny to hear. David
the last update,
anyone.
So this is from again Mike Straw. Shout out at Insider Gaming. The last update anyone has heard in any official capacity was that work was continuing the game alongside other projects. All that was said, and this was back in October, was we are eager to share more with you in the future. According to some sources that spoke to Insider Gaming, and you can check out the guys' Insider Gaming Weekly podcast as well. They're a great example of like that is like a news show. They really because they do a lot of their own original reporting.
Just in general, shout out to Mike and the crew at Insider Gaming. They've
Mike,
especially over the last like 4 or 5 months have done a lot of work to overhaul their stuff.
Yeah, and the esports outside of it has actually been getting a lot of steam. Grant, Dara, and Jack just joined. They were refugees from the Esports News UK AIification, which sucks. But I was happy to see them join Grant.
Yeah, land somewhere
do
good.
More esport, do more esports stuff. They were all at DreamHack Birmingham, so that's awesome. But on their latest episode of Insider Gaming Weekly, they, according to some sources, development on Star Wars Eclipse has been, quote, very slow going. One source even mentioned that the fact that the team had been making, quote, very little progress over months. The game at this stage is still looking to be years off from completion, one source said back in December. Let's see. Both NetEase and Quantic Dream, the source, when followed up on what can be done to push to get a timeline and get a game out, that same source said they had talks of expanding development staff, but NetEase didn't want to invest at that moment while they decided what they wanted to do long term. Both NetEase and Quantic Dream are, according to source, really relying on Spellcasters Chronicles, which I've never heard of until right this moment, which entered early access in February to bring in revenue that can be spent on Eclipse's development. Yeah, because somehow NetEase isn't making enough for Marvel Rivals, it seems. At this stage, this is from the source directly, at this stage, the long-term outlook is less driven by creative capabilities and more by financial viability. Should Spellcasters fail commercially, NetEase is expected to reevaluate its commitment to the studio, meaning Quantic Dream, and could opt to discontinue further investment. So, where it seems like State of Decay 3 is looking like in a little bit better state, more likely to launch, it does seem like now there's a few questions along Eclipse and
that's
going to be what's going on.
This is going to be the ongoing theme of the next like 4 years. It's like how many studios will retain funding from NetEase, Netmarble, Nexon, all these Chinese companies that put money into their studios to keep them back in like 2019 to 2022. Like a bunch of these studios are having issues.
And that's kind of the big picture thing I wanted to talk about a little bit, is that it seems that like it's so much like, I mean, it's hard. Any game with a long development cycle, with a big studio overheads, the longer it takes to get out, the one, you have instances like this where NetEase is like, well, we're not sure if we want to continue funding. I'm pretty sure we talked about a story in recent weeks where there was a game that was in the process of being developed.
The former Yakuza head that is not like a dragon, fucking
the one with
the Korean actor. I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
with the big guy, with the big actor who's
Gang of Dragon, which
correct.
is by the former Yakuza head who's launched a studio with, I believe, it's either NetEase or Nexon. I don't remember which one, but they launched a studio, and that company was basically like, nah, you needed another $40 million to get the game that's basically done out the door. That had like a trailer at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and they said no, and so now we don't know what's going on with that game. Is that even going to come out anymore?
We don't know.
No, we don't know.
They're looking for funding elsewhere.
And we talked about a little bit with like a game like a Suicide Squad, where it just takes so long to get out. And there's such high costs, where the longer it takes, the more likely it comes out.
Element of it flops. They have issues.
Yeah, if any part of it flops. Marathon's a great example right now. As much as I'm enjoying Marathon, Desmond's enjoying Marathon, the people who are still playing Marathon are enjoying it and want to see it continue. It's not the big slam dunk, like multi-thousands of people constantly playing game that certainly that Sony wanted, and perhaps Bungie wanted. I mean, that also runs the risk of they made a very niche game for a specific genre that, unlike Arc Raiders, which are a little more casual, that appeals to more people. That being said, and I want to reiterate this, what they've done with Marathon is really cool. I'm really enjoying it. The lore is really cool, and I really hope they continue this game, because I think it is something that does have legs, and that they continue to support it. People will come play. Exactly.
The question is
how much are they going to?
Marathon is
how much are they going to keep? How much are they going to keep supporting it?
Marathon is at the point where it's like it's going to be at this smart point where we're going to see the real dedication that Sony has to it as what they want to try with it, because it's going to get support regardless. I think it's going to have a small team at Bungie that's going to support the game for years, regardless.
Yes.
It's going to get the big support for the first year minimum, maybe 2, and then it's going to be on long-term small team support. This game is not going anywhere, is my thought. The point is, after that initial year of the big team still working on it, because in that first year, they're probably going to get to gold or close to gold or close to finished conceptually with everything that'll come out in year 2. And once that's done, is there already an internal team at Bungie that's working on whatever the next thing is, or working as a sports studio, or whatever the next Bungie, whatever is going to be, the next phase of Bungie is going to be? Because Marathon is not going to be their end-all be-all. It is not going to be a Destiny 2 in terms of life.
Yes.
Because of the numbers. Yeah. At minimum because of the numbers. That's not a negative. That's just how it's going to shake out.
I do think there is still a potential for it to like kind of, whereas like Arc Raiders peaked really high and it's now maybe you can say maybe it's tapering off a little bit. I think Marathon could potentially slow grow.
Oh, especially when it gets like some discounts, or when they run promotions, or when they
I just meant in terms of I meant just in terms of like what they're going to. I assume they have some pretty ambitious plans in terms of adding new content.
Yeah.
Just people are really impressed with Cryo Archive, and the ranked mode, and like they had a duo queue already, and it's like I think over time, especially
the next 2 years are gonna be really good for that game. I think.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. Yeah, I wishful thinking from my point, because I want it to do well, because I like Bungie and I like this game. So we'll see how it does. But again, like a thing where it's like it took a long time to get out, and it's very high cost, because and that's the thing with like American studios now, because the cost of living is just so much higher in America, and that's because
big
of
studio,
a bunch of factors.
Big studio,
we don't have time
big studio, big overhead, big city, big all this stuff. Like they're a Seattle-based company.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, thank God it's not LA. I mean, that's even more expensive.
LA,
I mean,
San
Seattle's
Francisco,
Seattle's not cheap either. Yeah.
I mean, that's why you see a lot of remote work happening, like still in gaming, because people are like, hey, we can keep the studio open in the place we have, but we don't need to have all these people move here, or we don't need to have all these people. But then again, that might take longer for the game to come out, because then you're having to coordinate more. Like you have to have more effort on coordination and stuff. So there's ups and downs to all of it. But yeah, you're correct that a good conversation topic is like, where's the balance between the two? And we're never gonna. We haven't seen it. So games really over the last like 10 years have started shifting into this. If they're big games, they're taking like 4, 5, 6 years to make, depending on how actual grand scale they are. Obviously GTA 6 is going to be the big one where it's like that's been in development since GTA 5 came out in some fashion. So that's going to be what, like 15 years ish. So not quite 15, but like it's going to be like 13, 14 years because it was like a 2012, 2013 game. Like those instances are very few and far between, but they're happening. So it's always a conversation to have, especially now that people are like, indies are going to save games, and it's like, okay, calm it down, because any game takes a lot of things. It takes a lot to get out.
I think they're always going to be there, but I don't think they're going to save the games industry.
People think that indie games are the end all be all now. Like there are people being like, everybody needs to make indie games. It's indie games are guaranteed success, and it's like, no,
it's not.
That is still a very toxic competitive industry. That take a lot to succeed. Like there are more games coming out than you know about. You still think that there's like 15 games coming out per day on Steam.
Yeah.
No.
And there's a lot of luck to be a really slam dunk success in indie. I mean, obviously a lot of hard work and talent and all that. I mean, I talked to Local Thunk about this, Creative Balatro, and he's explicitly said it's like, as much as I'm enjoying the success, I don't want people thinking that now you can just make an indie game and be a slam dunk success like Balatro has been. Like, it's very lucky. Like he's like, when this game first came out, like, you know, it wasn't that super successful. It wasn't until like a couple creators like really got into it, and then it just kind of really gradually slowly spread.
That's the story of Among Us.
And then they got the publisher
of all these other things. Like these games, some of these games come out and they don't get popular for a year or two. Like Among Us was out for like 3 years, two or 3 years, and the developers were starting to work on something else, and then some creators started making videos about Among Us, and it took off and became this massive success. And even if a game is successful, like I saw people talking about like, oh, Hollow Knight is super successful, and there's only 3 people that worked on it. No, there's 3 people that are at the studio, but they have so many other people working on the game, like externally. Like these conversations get diluted because people on YouTube Shorts and whatever just go look up the Wikipedia for the thing, and they're like, oh, there's only 3 people who worked on this game, because they don't know how to do research into these things. They just say things. That's why I'm happy to see. I'm like, my algorithm has started showing me more people that are actually like talking about smart gaming opinions and doing research into things before they talk about stuff, which is a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. But like indie games as a whole, like yes, they're cheaper to make. They're faster to make, yes, but you also have to take into account like the main benefit of that for a lot of companies is that cheaper and faster to make means that you can make more of them to try and find your hit with the money that you have set aside to develop games. Because if you make a game and you put it out and you get no traction, you can use what little money you make off of the purchase from that game, especially if you're a known studio, to then go and fund your next thing. Like that's why a bunch of these friend swap studios are like making multiple friendswap games in a row, because they make a game and then they already had an idea for another game that they thought might be a success. That other one failed, so then they can put the money they make from these games into something else to then keep the cycle rolling. Because again, this is not a one and done thing. Most games that get released, even if they're successful, are not you make a game and then you're set for life. People don't understand that. It's not you release Hollow Knight, you're set. You made however many. Like Hollow Knight is like a rare exception where Hollow Knight sold so well across all platforms that yes, that studio can do whatever they want. Among Us, Peak probably isn't even at that point, because they have a team. Like you can sell X million of copies, and yes, that will set you up very well for whatever comes next. But there still is a what comes next. And you have to keep that in mind. And your next game, even if your studio has a reputation now, and you can put from the creators of Peak in your trailer or whatever, it's not a guarantee. It never is. So you got to stop being like indie games are going to save everything, because it is a different but still highly competitive and very, very toxic market. So don't go shouting about indie games, and we'll mention that at the end of the podcast too.
I mean, keep supporting indie games, but like, don't think they're going to be. Yeah,
I'm just going to bring this up. Actually, I'm just going to bring up this point now because we were talking about it. So this is from Zach Weisen over at Kotaku, but this is just a point I saw being brought up. This is from a Peak dev, who there's someone on Twitter basically calling the Peak devs lazy and say they could be doing much more with Peak, because like they haven't released like updates or whatever. And Landfall directly responded to that. Landfall Games, the developer, said Peak has so many updates though. Neither us or AggroCrab or live service studios. Any update is a bonus, not a right. Like, and someone responded to that. How the gaming industry works these days, Landfall pointed out correctly that it has done a lot of free updates, has at least one more planned update adding the industry. It used to be no updates, just release as is. We've gone beyond that. Like, not every game that releases updates is a live service game. Marathon is like is a mix. Like, people think Marathon is a live service game. Marathon is a mix. It is not a free-to-play live service game. It is a game that has a core thing that came out at launch, and every update post is a designed update to add to that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting games now are, in some fashion, considered live service updates because there's patches and because there's DLC characters. And yes, to an extent, they are live service, but those are all highly specified updates. The patches aren't, because they're focusing on the gameplay for the most part and fixing things, and occasionally adding, like the Guilty Gear Strive patch that's going to go live in a couple days for 2.0 will overhaul a bunch of the game's gameplay systems and completely change how that game is played at a base level. So fighting games are even more of a live service game than some of these games like Peak, or like even like we're playing Super Battle Golf or whatever. But a live service game is like a Marvel Rivals, where it is a constantly updated game. You're getting a new patch every week. You're getting new content every week, and that is what drives the game. If you're paying...
Your Marvel Rivals, your Valorant,
your Fortnites, your
not
everything.
Overwatch at this point?
Overwatch is
free to
still,
play?
yes.
Yep.
Overwatch is still a live service game.
Yeah. It is meant to, a lot of these games are free to, most of them are free to play, and their revenue comes from skins, it comes from seasonal passes, it comes from, and the reason that it's able to successfully sell you these things is because it's promising that there's always going to be new content. But Rivals is the easiest one for us to talk about. There's two heroes every season.
You get an update every Thursday.
There's new
that
maps.
Has new outfits.
There's
you get
new game
with
mode.
A new patch, and then we just got a new map last week. We're getting new. There's in 2 weeks we're getting a new character again. That it's perpetually updating games are live service games. Fighting games can be considered live service games. Other games can be considered hybrid games in that space. But if you're talking about like a Peak or a Super Battle Golf or a Speedrunners, or like any of these games that are like party games almost, where you're playing them with friends, those are not live service games. And any update you get to those games, especially if they're a smaller studio, my point here is, and I put this in the doc, don't shit on the people making your games, especially if you like the games. There's no reason for you to be antagonistic and call these developers lazy when they developed the game already and you had X amount of time with the game. If you can't get your base enjoyment out of a game and then walk away from that experience and be like, damn, that was a good game, I'm happy the developers made that game, and you instead go on social media and start harassing the developers and calling them lazy, even though you bought the game and you played the game and you're seemingly wanting to play more of the game, you have issues and you need to get yourself checked out, because that's crazy.
Yeah. Like for example, a game I'm playing a lot of is Nutmeg, which is published by Secret Mode, developed by Sumo Digital Academy or Sumo Digital. Very small, very niche game. It's not like a full on soccer. It's a soccer sim. It's like a Football Manager meets Balatro. It's not a full soccer sim. It's not got all the management things you'd have in like an EAFC or a Football Manager. Doesn't have all the bells and whistles. Are things that I want to see, like little fixes I'd want, or little things that would make it a little more fun? Sure. Am I going to go to this tiny studio working on this tiny game and say they're lazy for not making it? No, I'm enjoying the hell out of this game, and I'm appreciating it for what it is. You're not wrong for wanting more things, especially if it's from a game you like. But to actually just think about
those are people.
think about you, and assuming you have a job. Now, the people who complain about stuff like this, maybe they don't have jobs. But assuming you have a job and you do your job and you do what your bosses ask you to do, the customer asks you for a thing, you do the thing that the customer wants you to do, and then imagine customers kept coming back in after they've already paid for the item that you sold them, and then saying you're lazy for not giving them more stuff for that, either more items or like giving you stuff that like would make that item even more, even though you've already had the transaction, you've already done all the stuff, you've done your job, you sold the thing, and etc. Like it's like that. It's like you've paid for the game, you get what's in the game. You can ask for more, but like to go out to go and like call the devs lazy when it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Now, to pivot to another point, because now we'll get to our next segment here. Well, no, we're not going to be able to drive anymore. Rocket Racing's getting discontinued, getting shut down.
No, I've enjoyed the time I played that.
I did actually. I did enjoy that. It's just I don't play Fortnite.
It was fine. It is
a fine mode. But
it's pretty basic for like a racing.
Correct.
Yeah, but then again, it's not like a racing game. It's a little experience within Fortnite. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, Epic Games is laying off 1,000 people. So, and they're blaming Fortnite downturn. So this is one of the most successful companies in all of gaming. They have the biggest IP in all of gaming, the biggest singular IP in all of gaming. Right. Roblox is probably bigger by scale, but that is not a singular IP. That is a slop-driven machine for the most part that is focused on being a free-to-play option for kids, which Fortnite is also, but it is a very different kind of product, even though they both have similar elements. Anyways, Tim Sweeney, who we all love and adore, Tim Sweeney, right? Everybody loves this man in the industry and doesn't think he has terrible takes and needs to get off the social media. Put out a statement to people just like the general company saying, due to a downturn in Fortnite engagement, the game's Rocket Racing, Ballistic, and Festival Battle Stage modes will be shut down. That's a currently announced thing. And then basically goes on to say, like, today we're laying off 1,000 Epic employees. I'm sorry we're here again. The downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2015 means we're spending significantly more than we're making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. This layoff, together with over $500 million in identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, puts us in a more stable place. The only good thing I could say to this is there was an issue with so people getting laid off are getting minimum 4 months of base pay, and then more depending on tenure. Also, there was one person who has a very, very serious illness or a very serious condition that was going to lose healthcare because of this, and they're taking care of it separately. They've announced that they're taking care of that separately. So that's good on them. Both of these good. Obviously, the bare minimum that they can do, especially when they're laying off 1,000 plus people. But they're talking about like industry-wide challenges, slower growth, weaker spending, tougher cost economics. They already last month announced increasing costs for everything in Fortnite. Now, again, credit where's credit's due. They're only increasing the cost of, and I say credit loosely, Battle Pass staying the same price to where you can buy the one bundle and you can buy the Battle Pass. And then if you finish the Battle Pass, you can buy the Battle Pass again using what you earn off the Battle Pass. That's a bonus because not every game would do that. That is a good thing. However, the reason they're increasing these costs for the V-Bucks and stuff is because the cost of costumes and stuff and the cosmetics and everything will not change. So if you want to buy the cosmetics, you want to buy everything that you want in the game, you are then going to have to spend more on the V-Bucks. That is why they're doing it, not necessarily the Battle Pass. So small win, whatever. This sucks. This is very stupid because this company is a very successful company, and the fact that they're spending more than the fact that they found $500 million just like that they can find in cost cutting before during this layoff period, where it's like, then why were you spending that much? Why were you spending this much? Like, companies cannot operate within their means. It always, like, this is the issue, and I don't want to harp on the infinite growth thing that we always have to talk about when we talk about this stuff, but it is these companies can't operate within their means to run a successful business that is generating billions of dollars, millions and millions and millions of consistent dollars, and pleasing shareholders, because it always has to be infinite growth. It cannot be sustained.
And the fault is in the shareholders and the people who own stock, and because they always want to see that go up, because here's the thing, if you and I own a company and it's profitable and we're making money and we're able to pay our employees and we're making money off it because it's profitable, we're putting money away for a rainy day, we're happy. But that's how we make our money, and we're happy with that. But if we have stock owners, the only way stock owners make money is if growth keeps happening. Like, they're not satisfied with like, oh, well, now that you're profitable, you can just stay at that margin forever. Even if it's incredibly profitable, it always has to be more. The margins have to be bigger. And so that's why I propose that we destroy the stock exchange with, what's it, a boogie bomb? What do they use in Fortnite? Just make it, instead of trading, everyone's just on the floor dancing. dancing for look, let's say 2 weeks. That'll probably fix everything.
If the two of us, so let's use Timesphere as the example here, right? If the two of us made enough from Timesphere to live, we get a good salary, we can save, and we can live off of the podcast, and then we can put away some for rainy day, and then we can invest some back into the pod, or invest some back into content, like travel or whatever, to where we're not having to pay out of pocket for like travel to events and stuff, so we can add more to what we're giving people. That is the additions that we as people that do not need endless growth would get, because our additions would come from, hey, we want to make sure if any excess profit over this amount goes into our savings and then goes into improving the quality, so you want to continue supporting us. That's the growth that we would want. The companies that are doing this, the growth that they want has nothing to do with the products themselves. It has everything to do with the people that are, quote unquote, in charge of these companies and asking for endless growth because they want to see their investments paid back. And then they don't care because they're never going to liquidate their investments until things go south anyways. So there's no reason for that to happen. It's stupid. This is dumb. This sucks. Also, to pair with that report, now there are additional reports that Disney, after previously investing $1.5 billion into into Fortnite and Unreal Engine company, so obviously just Epic in general, that they might be more interested in acquiring Epic Games in the future. So obviously Disney and Epic have been doing these kind of deals forever, where a bunch of Disney IP has been coming to Fortnite. They've been doing crossover events. They've been doing in-game events, and they've been doing. They have like this Disney world, like cross-world project in the background that's been in development for a while, that's going to tie into Fortnite in some fashion. This is a couple years ago.
We were probably both still at DOT when this was like February 2024.
Yeah, it was right before things at DOT really took the downturn, when people started getting, like, when we started getting worried about layoffs. Yeah.
Disney announced it was making like a $1.5 billion investment. It was an equity stake, and then they were going to make like a sort of like their own Fortnite just for Disney.
It was going to be an entertainment hub,
games and entertainment universe
that would tie into Fortnite. It would have like some kind of tie into Fortnite in some way. Yeah.
Like you could. Yeah, just a bunch of like, there would be like a user generated stuff, probably like Roblox. You can probably like, I don't know, watch Disney Plus through it or whatever, or just a bunch of who knows like when people who are throwing this amount of money and they're like, I want to make this thing, it's like, who knows what they actually want the end product to be.
Yeah, so this is coming
way
from
above my payroll in terms of figuring out what actually their goals are.
This is coming from VGC, but it's from a podcast called The Town with Matt Maloney, who was talking to Verge deputy editor Alex Heath, who basically said, in regards to Epic potentially wanting to, or Disney potentially wanting to buy Epic, I know for a fact there are senior executives at Disney who want to buy Epic and just are waiting for the moment. And then there's others who think it's a bad idea. So basically this is like, if a deal were to happen, Disney would be the most, like, the company that makes the most sense for a purchase of Epic right now. Just in terms of like, they're already got dealings going on. But nothing is in the works. I mean, hey, Disney's got the $1 billion that they were going to throw at Sora or whatever, just sitting in their coffers right now. And who knows? Yeah. Who knows, man?
Know what? When I play games like Nutmeg and like soccer sim games, it's like, all right, I've been saving up all this money. I'm going to go after a big shining star, like a star player. He's going to come. Oh, he doesn't want to sign here. Well, I guess I have to sign someone. I've got all this money sitting around. It's like, you go out and go get him. But I think Baloney actually, mentioned that, and I think because Chris Scullion, who wrote about it for VGC, he mentioned this article. New Disney CEO Josh D'Amaro, who took over from Bob Iger early this month, wasn't keen on Disney's $1 billion deal with Sora company OpenAI, which then worked out for him because he completely collapsed. Rest in piss. But was 500% behind this Epic Games relationship that Disney has, where they are developing.
Yeah, because that has more tangible like engagement. Like, it engages people with the IP in ways that they want. Like, I mean, they're getting a Phineas and Ferb collab. like starting like this week or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is like it engages them with all levels of the characters and the IP.
Right.
Yeah, like even if you're not playing it, you're gonna be engaging with the IP because you're gonna see them when you're fighting them, or you're gonna see them in the store. Like it is much more tangible than and a much more beneficial relationship than, hey, AI slop a Buzz Lightyear drinking like a Coca-Cola or something. I don't know, whatever. That's just what I wanted to bring up because Epic is being very shitty to a bunch of people.
Heath also mentioned, and this isn't to excuse Epic, but he does think they're another example of someone who overhired in the pandemic, and I'm sure that's true. But also, like, I'm kind of tired of that being an excuse. It's like, all right,
it could be an excuse at a certain level, but for a company like Epic that was already super successful before the pandemic, if you can't. The $500 million that they just had to cut costs.
Are there not people in charge who like can see see the forest for the trees or
see Scott?
I don't know if that's a saying.
But
like,
you see,
be like, oh,
they did. Remember the PR statement that they released where it's like Fortnite costs are going up, so we need to pay the bills. Yeah, that didn't go through the however many hundreds of PR people that they have at that company. They just don't. They just don't pay. The people in charge of that company probably just don't pay attention.
This is extremely speculative. Based on this is as my bit of experience as a PR person. Sometimes PR people will say, "Hey, we should do this," and they just kind of get overruled. They just kind of get overruled, and it's not really. I'm sure a lot of PR people looked at that and said, "I don't think this is the messaging we want to go with," and I'm pretty confident. Again, don't know anything, just speculating. Pretty confident that someone higher up just said,
"Oh, that's what happened." I am also speculating, but I'm just going to straight up say it. That's what happened.
It's just the thing that can happen.
Knowing who runs Epic Games, hey, guess what? He likes talking a lot. Anyways, another weird situation that happened, and by weird I mean stupid. Sony shuttered another PlayStation studio. We're just going to breeze by this because if you want to look at this. The actual founders talked about this a little bit on a live stream or something post getting shut down. But Dark Outlaw Games, which was founded literally in 2025 by the former Call of Duty Zombies lead, Jason Blundell, is now just gone. So PlayStation shuttered that. He talked about that on a stream to debunk some of the rumors or whatever, but that got shut down. And then not long after that, Sony announced that, no, this is not PlayStation. This is Sony Interactive Entertainment. So yes, PlayStation, but not directly PlayStation, is acquiring. It's called Cinemersive Labs, which is a machine learning and computer vision company that was founded in 2022. That is a specialized team with deep expertise in computer vision and machine learning expertise. They're joining SIE's Visual Computing Group to contribute to broader efforts, and this is in quotes, in advancing state-of-the-art visual computing within games. This includes applying machine learning to enhance gameplay visuals, improve rendering techniques, and unlock new levels of visual fidelity. So people were worried that this was AI-driven, and to an extent it is, but it's almost AI-driven in the format of machine learning and like upscaling images and that kind of AI versus other AI innovations that Sony has been doing. Now, this is on the surface. We don't know for sure, but this seems like a positive thing. But it's really dumb that this happened right after they shut down a studio, even though they're completely different sectors. So,
we'll see.
Business, everybody.
We'll see. Business. We love business here.
You know what we can talk about now, though, Scott? We can have some fun.
The Bulls finally getting rid of their GM and president, or what was AK's job?
I don't know.
Yeah,
he had a job.
It was AK had been GM for the Bulls for 6 years. We made the playoffs once, and we can never decide between
how many second round picks did you get for that entire starting lineup?
All of them. No first round picks.
You got like two or three second rounders, and I think most of that was
setting off Io and not even getting a first round pick. It might be the most egregious, seeing as how watching the Wolves, and I'm just like, oh my god,
he's perfect.
He's perfect for them. I expect the Wolves will be competing for in the Western Conference Finals because they already have some very good players, and then he's just like such a great. They can have one of
him and Dante DiVincenzo on the field on the court at any time.
Yeah, and it's just like for such a long time the Wolves bench was just like the Wolves like bench option was like, let's hope Nas Reed has a good game, and that was it.
Hey, the ghost
And
of
now
Mike
it's like-
Conley,
Yeah, and
who's still there.
shout out to him. Get those checks. Get those checks,
No,
young fella.
which is hilarious because he got traded in that IO deal.
Oh, yeah, and he
cut by
got-
the
and he went
Bulls and
back.
just signed back.
Yeah,
Shout out Mike Conley. I love Mike Conley.
Mike Conley rules.
But
Grit and grind, baby.
no, what I was going to say is we can talk about some fun stuff now. We get to talk about Mario.
Yeah,
Both of us saw
Mario
both of
movie.
us saw the Mario Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
Just base level before we get into like any spoilers or whatever. What were your thoughts? How did you enjoy the movie?
it's fun. It's a fun movie. It's you don't have to do any deep critical thinking. It's not like, it's not like Project Hail Mary where it's like,
Which I also saw.
I'm worried about this character, and if something happens, I'm gonna be an emotional wreck for maybe the next week. Mario's just like, haha, this is like, it's like playing Mario. It's like, oh, this is fun. It's hitting all
That's
the
the
little
best way to
endorphins.
describe
Oh,
it. It's just playing.
oh,
Mario.
that was fun. I like that. Like, I can see at one time, it's a thing where it's like, I can see why like movie critics hated it, but also I can see why people don't take movie critics seriously because they take everything so seriously.
Movie critics and
this
game
isn't
critics
a serious
were
movie.
fighting on the internet
Yeah.
about this, and that was so funny because they're two very different kinds of criticism.
Yeah, it's a silly video game movie. It's not like, it was like someone said like, this is worse than AI. It's like,
I saw
it's
that one.
not. It's objectively not. Like, this is not evil. It's not bad for the environment. It's just, it's fine.
It
It's
serves
fine.
its purpose.
It's
Like,
fine. It's for children. It is a
this
children's movie.
This movie, the people that want this movie to be more than it is like, okay, it's not asking too much for like more like deeper character writing, because I do think the main issue I have with the movie, other than like just being I think it needed like another 15 minutes to really do something.
Yeah,
with its plot.
it was short. Even though it was technically shorter. Or sorry, it was technically longer than the first one, but
Yeah.
it felt shorter.
It felt
and
shorter
there were
because
scenes
it
where
was-
it's like, we're just running right through that. Okay, all right,
Yeah.
we're already past that. Okay, yeah, like certain
There's a
story
lot
beats where
of
it's
this
like that
movie
could have taken some more time.
that didn't need to happen and could have been replaced with other stuff. But like at the same time, I don't go in, like, I wanted better writing. I thought there was a lack of like jokes that hit in like the second half of this movie. I thought there were very few like interactions that had like punchy jokes that I was like actually like, oh, that was pretty good or whatever. There was like much less laughter in this. I was in a theater with a bunch of kids on the Friday, and
Yep, same.
there was like but there were laughs in like the first, like we got the Yoshi bits got laughs pretty consistently.
Yeah.
There was a couple jokes here or there that landed, but for the most part, it was a pretty quiet theater outside of a kid saying something or repeating a line, which was not the case in the first one. The first one was very laugh heavy, and both the times I went to see that in theaters. But
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. Even without even if it didn't have the writing that I was hoping it had, I went in wanting good music, amazing visuals, and for it to be a fun ride that didn't feel like a drag. And I got all three of those in spades. I actually got way more out of the music than I thought I would. The music was
great.
incredible, dude. Okay, so that's our thoughts on the movie. If you don't want to get spoiled, you can skip ahead to when we're talking about the last couple of stories here. But the Star Fox shit in this movie, when they hit the Star Fox theme, the 64 theme for the first time, in this like naturally progress into the score of the Star Fox theme, I literally leaned back in my chair and Jacob looked over to me. I was like, fuck. Like, that shit hit. Because like, so when the leak happened and it said Star Fox was in the movie, people were like, oh, it's going to be a big character. When they showed the poster...
It wasn't a leak. It was Nintendo.
No.
Straight up saying
the leak from the Korean site.
I didn't see that.
Leak. There was a casting
I
leak
didn't see
before the Nintendo thing happened. Not that it wasn't going to happen. It was going to get shared anyway.
Okay.
But
right.
when that leak happened and people were like, "Oh, Star Fox is in the movie," that's a choice. People were like, "Oh, it's going to be a bit. It's going to be like a cut scene or like a cameo or something." When they released the trailer, I was like, "No, he's in this movie. Like, he's going to be a character in this movie." And he was potentially the best part of this movie, and I was not expecting that. Like, Glenn Powell killed it. I do have concerns about the characterization because he's a little too cocky,
cartoony.
No, not cartoony. Because he's acting like Falco. Falco is the cocky
Mm.
one. So I need it, whatever they do with Star Fox next, because there's going to be a TV show or movie or something.
Yeah.
That is, I want to see them together to see what the balance is like, because this Star Fox is much more like gung ho, cocky, which he is, but to a much higher comedic level than he is in the games, which is fine. There hasn't been like a good Star Fox characterization that's been like wider in a while. So I'm interested in that.
I want from a Star Fox show, but for Falcon and Fox, I want like a Top Gun-esque rivalry with like a little bit of sexual tension underneath.
That'd be
it.
so funny if they actually leaned into that. That'd be very funny.
Sign me up. Whatever service is it on? Please don't be Paramount Plus.
It's gonna be
whatever.
Paramount Plus.
Damn it. Fuck.
That's where the movies stream, because it's Universal.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Wait, no, isn't Universal an NBC company? So it'd be on Peacock.
Is that where Mario is? Wherever the Super Mario movie is streaming, it'll be that. Well, wherever the primary rights
Mario.
I mean, it's on everything. It's
Bros
on Netflix
movie
and stuff too.
Streaming.
A show would be exclusive though, probably.
Peacock. Let's go. I'm fine giving NBC my money. Let's go.
Okay. So, anyways,
I do it for Premier League already. Let's go.
So here's the deal. The Star Fox bits were awesome. The music was incredible across the board, but that music was awesome. There's way more with we got the anime intro bit to describe why he's there, which was perfect.
Yeah,
we got
fun.
him and Mario acting like they were going to be like fake out that they were going to be pissed at each other because Mario thinks he's encroaching on Peach, and he goes, "Nice ride," and he's like, "Thanks, nice stash," and then they're just friends immediately after that, which was a great fake out, great use of that. We get to see him. We get to see him do an R-wing fight, and then we get to see him drift in the cosmic observatory.
Yeah,
if you told me
this is a spotlight for Fox.
Like I was, the best bit in the movie. Oh my god, my camera just froze. But like that. But the best bit in the movie, for me, the one that got me laughing the hardest, or that got me chuckling the hardest, was when he goes. And it's like him and Toad going, "Don't worry, we'll get you onto that planet." And then it's like he does the pose, and then all the Lumas pop up behind him wearing the jackets, and it's like Team Star Fox is ready to go.
Hell yeah,
love it. That was a great bit. But yeah, no, the movie was great. I love the bit. So there's bits of the movie again that I think didn't need to exist, or that were way too split up or whatever. But I do think I love the bit enough that I don't care that it led to them coming together for no reason in the middle when they met Star Fox. But splitting up the team to where it's Mario, Luigi, Yoshi going off and doing Mario stuff, like Mario World, Mario Land stuff, and then Peach and Toad going to do the Mario 2 stuff, because that's where they're first playable. Like, that was awesome.
So good, yeah.
I think all that was great. At least like visually and like referencey and stuff. Which again, this movie had enough substance for me to be like, that was a really fun ride. I'm not going to remember. I'm going to go see it again with my little cousin and my brother this week at some point. I'm going to have another really fun ride. I'll be paying it more attention for like references or like little stuff. But I'm not like super, like after I see it this time, I'm going to do the same thing I did with the original one. The next time I watch, it's probably going to be a Discord call with friends, because I'm not going to be fiending to go see this a second time or a third time in theaters. Like, it's not like that deep a movie. It's going to be fun enough for me to go back a second time, but after that, I'm probably not going to think about this movie again for a year, or until they announce whatever's next. If you want, do you have any other thoughts, or you want me to move on?
No, I really liked it. When they were like about to like sort of intro Fox and some either Peach or someone said like, oh, you guys need a pilot. Me and Steph looked at each other like, oh, like quickly knew it was coming. Steph really loved the won't spoil it, but she was really a fan of the character they revealed in the end credit scene.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and she was like, I just really want to see this person, and that's exactly who she got. So she was very happy about that, and obviously they'll be in whatever the next movie is.
Yeah, we're gonna get another movie. We're gonna get. I will say, people are like super pumped that they're like, Smash Bros. Movie's coming. Smash Bros. Movie's coming. And I'm like, I
think it will, but not soon. But I think they'll do more.
My whole issue, and this is me putting it to not just me talking about it on stream or whatever, is I don't know. It's like Smash Bros. Isn't a team. It's not a group, and it doesn't need to be. If they just want the IP to be out there, sure, I don't care. But the Super Smash Bros are not a team. That's just the name of the game. Like, they don't have a group. Like, the only time we've seen them as a group doing a thing is Subspace Emissary. And that's an example of they can make it work in a way. But, like, and everybody's like, oh, well, how are they going to get the rights? And I'm like, they're not going to get the rights. Maybe they can do, like, Sonic and Snake or something if they really want to get off because they have good relationships with Sega, and Sega's already doing movies, and they have a good relationship with Konami. And maybe Konami be willing to do a Snake in there. But, like, Zelda's live action. And now they can easily explain that away somehow. They could do a different Link, a different Zelda, whatever. But they're probably going to just do a core cast of Nintendo characters. It's just going to be a fun action movie, and people are going to be upset that it's not something deeper for some reason. Yeah. I just don't see how it gets there with how things are current. Like, we got Rob, which is just Rob. We got Game & Watch, which is fucking awesome. That was hilarious. And then,
that was fun.
Then we got a Pikmin reference, and then there might have been like Little Mac and whatever.
The Rob stuff are so fun. The hangar's over.
Yeah,
and then Mike gets resent.
Yeah, it gets resent.
Like that got some.
I mean, they just ripped that out of Zootopia, but because it's Rob,
yeah,
and because because it's Rob, and Rob broke all the time. Like it is a fun bit, but I don't see where they get there. How they're currently building out whatever this universe is. Obviously, Fox came from a different universe, so anything's on the table. They could go to different universes and get these characters, regardless of how they end up putting some of this stuff to screen or TV or whatever. So
I don't know much about the actual lore, but I know like there's like that big like gloved hand that's like the
Master Hand. Well,
Bros. The Master Hand.
The lore of Smash Bros is that they're all toys.
Yes,
like they're all action figures. They're the trophies
for the movie. For the movie spell, though, they can just like pull these characters out of like the hand could like reach through dimensions, just put them out.
Like it could be trying big bad guy. They can create a big bad guy.
It'll be voiced by Keanu Reeves or whatever, and that'll
they can do Taboo if they wanted to bring in like the main baddie from Brawl. They could find another Nintendo villain. Like they can do whatever they want. I'm not saying a Smash Bros. Movie is impossible. I just don't see how they set it up with how they're going about it. But this is a good start with how they did Star Fox. Like, this is great. And then moving on to our next point, currently, sources, quote, and this is from Andy Robinson of VGC, Nintendo is planning a new Star Fox game and a major Zelda remake this year, but no 3D Mario. So, I will also say, Monolith Soft released an updated website yesterday that showed a bunch of their detailed development and what they did and the full team that was working on all the stuff they did for the Zelda games that they worked on, which was Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. They were support on that. So people are now thinking that there might be a Monolith Soft remake of a Zelda game coming soon. The rumor that I've heard mostly is Ocarina of Time, which has been a rumor forever, that there's going to be an Ocarina of Time remake. And if Monolith Soft is making an Ocarina of Time remake, holy shit. But according to this is from Nate the Hate. Most of these Nintendo rumors are always from Nate the Hate. But this is reportedly planning to release a major Zelda remake and a new Star Fox game this year, but a 3D Mario won't arrive on Switch until 2027. This is from Nate the Hate, who shared a plethora of game information on the company's 2026 plans, which matches with what VGC has heard from their own sources. So VGC is corroborating Nate's sources, or corroborating the information, not the sources. In one of his podcasts, he's basically like, Nate was like, a classic Star Fox revival is planned for a release on Switch 2 this summer, hot on the heels of Fox appearing in the show, which would make sense, especially if they were planning this post Mario. If they were like, they were like, because this is what happened with Donkey Kong. Mario movie comes out, new design for Donkey Kong. That new design for Donkey Kong's in cart. That new design for Donkey Kong is in Bonanza. Obviously, it took longer because they probably weren't. Those were probably in development at the same time as the Mario movie.
Right.
So now we're further on. They probably had plans for Fox to be in this movie closer to when the Mario movie was coming out. So regardless, this game is probably in development for about 3 to 4 years already. So with that, classic Star Fox Revival can mean a lot of things. But Nate goes, Star Fox is coming back in 2026. I've been told it's a classic style Star Fox game, and the visuals are supposed to be very good. I've heard that it does have online multiplayer. First Star Fox game since Wii U, other than the release of Star Fox 2 in that span as like a lost media kind of thing, and then also the re-releases on Switch and whatnot. But my thought process is that this could be like a $40 game, $40 on-rail updated classic Star Fox game, just to get people introduced to the character. It's going to use the design from the movie. It's going to use new designs for characters. It's just going to be a new experience in that classic style, which would be dope because I'm a big Star Fox guy. I love that we could get new Star Fox. And then additionally, he says 3D Mario won't arrive in 2026 as expected. Obviously, Mario Odyssey was the last new 3D Mario, new 3D Mario. We got some remakes with some extra content, but that was 2027 or 2017, so it's going to be 10 years, which is crazy. From between 3D Marios, they say he says probably 2027. One game will not be releasing this holiday. 3D Mario will release in 2027 is the plan, and then the current remake. The current Zelda project that is being speculated is a 3D or is a full remake of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time to coincide with the 40th anniversary of the franchise, which would make a lot of sense. Yep. And that is this year. Later this year is the 40th anniversary, so that might be the holiday game. Is
the
Ocarina of Time remake by probably a mix of Nintendo staff plus Monolith Soft, if I had to guess, because Monolith hasn't worked on anything since Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive.
That'll do. That'll do.
That'll do.
Yep. The Nintendo will be very happy with that. I think that'll sell like hotcakes. If it's when they say remake, then I mean like is it gonna look like Breath of the Wild? Or I mean,
no, it'll probably be like full on like updated everything graphically. Like it'll be, but it'll be like a same approach to style, but with modern graphics, and then it'll play probably closer to how, if they keep the gameplay the exact same, it'll probably be closer to how the 3DS version played, like with updated everything, because that game plays pretty differently, even though it keeps a lot of the classic stuff. Or who knows, they might go the Final Fantasy VII route where it's like not the change the plot and everything, but like fully update everything, change how the gameplay does, but it'll still keep the visual stylings of Ocarina of Time just updated for modern day. It's not going to be like we're going to put Breath of the Wild like skin over it outside of like everything's going to look better. Obviously we're still getting we don't know when the new Splatoon game's coming out, because Splatoon Raiders was announced. We still haven't seen anything from that. Fire Emblem Fortunes Wii is supposed to come out this year, and then there are people anticipating, this is VGC noting, but people are guessing and rumoring that there will be Switch 2 editions for Pikmin 4 and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at some point this year also, or within the near future, which would be great for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Pikmin 4 runs great as is. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is like a year one Switch game that could really use it. But
sure,
yeah. I mean, heck, if that's their slate for this year, that's stacked. Like if they get a Splatoon
game
out,
a good slate.
If they get Star Fox and Splatoon out within like the summer months, Fire Emblem and Zelda.
Those are the ones. Those are the multiplayer ones, from what it sounds like.
Yeah,
and so that's going to be
Get a Star Fox game out this summer. Get a
games,
Splatoon game out this summer, and then get Zelda and Fire Emblem out before the end of the year. Heck yeah, that's a great final year lineup for. I mean, it's a little more niche. Like Splatoon and Zelda are big, but like Star Fox and Fire Emblem are a little more on the niche franchise side for them, even though they're Nintendo franchises. So we'll see. I mean, I'm excited for it regardless. I'm a big I haven't played Ocarina of Time since the 3DS version, so I'm excited to go back to that if that is the remake, especially if it's like a full-on remake of like with like teams very carefully going back and remaking a bunch of stuff for modern audiences. Awesome. I'm more excited for Star Fox though, because that's new.
Yeah, it's a good slate. Very good slate.
Yeah. And then in Nintendo's not winning news, the U.S. Patent Office revoked the patent that Nintendo was trying to get on the summoning characters to make them battle patent from like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Where they were like, hey, we're trying to like, very specifically, it's not like a full on, hey, this is like we're bringing out a person to fight a person. It's more specifically like capture device, monster, battle kind of thing. So they were trying to patent basically Pokemon, like the Pokemon stylings of it, where it's like this is what happened with the Pal World stuff and everything. But John A. Squires, which is hilarious, that's his name. It's almost John Esquires, but it's John A. Squires. Personally ordered a re-examination of the patent for the first time since 2012 that a USPTO director had personally done. So without another company officially getting involved. As reported by Gamesphere, and this is written up by Chris Scullion over at VGC. Basically, that this is a non-final decision, so Nintendo does have 2 months to respond. But the USPTO has decided to reject all 26 claims made in the patent, meaning it has now been revoked and is invalid. Nintendo's patent was basically summoning other characters and making them fight for the player, using Pokemon as the real-world example, and using capture devices as the main part of the patent. So, I just wanted to flag that as they have 2 months to respond, but it looks like it's going to get denied, which is good. I like, as much as I love Pokemon, that's an instance of Nintendo being defending their I can never fault a company for defending like what they view as theirs as IP, especially in a world where AI is a thing, and like companies are always just trying to like take whatever.
This was getting a little. This was
getting bad. This was
a little greedy.
Like the only Power World thing that the Power World Pokemon comparison that I was on Nintendo's side with is if it was verified that some of the like, because there were a handful of Power World designs that did look way too close to Pokemon, and if there was an investigation that led to them finding that they used the basis of Pokemon models in the design process or in the modeling process, that's the only part of it I would have been okay with them winning.
Right.
Everything else that was just them cracking down on Power World because it was Power World, not a fan. Like, I'm not going to defend Nintendo for that. Like, I will not fault a company for defending its IP. I will fault a company for overextending its reach on its IP to shut down fan projects that aren't going to do anything to hurt the IP, and to then fuck over companies that are just trying to make games. That's shitty, and Nintendo does that a lot. So, good news here. And then the last news we're going to talk about, Shinji Mikami, the creator of Resident Evil, his studio has been acquired by, or his new studio that he founded and was talking about his new game recently, Unbound, has been acquired by the Stellar Blade developers, Shift Up. So, this is like, this is one of those things where like acquisitions are not really ever a good thing. But if this helps him make his game, and Stellar Blade sold well, and it's got some funding behind it, like the Shift Up has funding behind it, I'm not going to complain.
We'll see what they make out of this. I mean, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, well, also they note in the announcement, it's like what draws these two together isn't geography or market logic. It's a shared conviction that strong creative direction and high quality execution go hand in hand. Unbound runs on parallel development, smaller experimental titles alongside a large scale flagship, so neither ambition nor risk taking ever gets sacrificed for the other. And then Shift Up will publish Unbound's games titles going forward and support it with development resources. So, and then Mikami specifically says, I am very pleased to be partnering with Shift Up CEO Hyung Tae Kim and all the employees. So it's a strong synergy with CEO Kim, who is also an active creator, and I believe that this is an ideal partnership that allows us to focus on creativity. We will do our best to create fun games so both companies working as one can meet our fans' expectations. This seems like very like-minded people that like making games.
Yep.
Probably had drinks somewhere and were like, let's do it.
Yeah. They're like Resident Evil monster, but big tittied. And I'm like, signed.
That was all.
Couldn't get pen to paper fast enough.
It's like Resident Evil, but main character appeals to gooners, which happens anyways in Resident Evil.
Yes, because look at Leon.
Leon Kennedy, but bigger bicep.
More, bigger.
Leon Kennedy, but it's Resident Evil. It's more Resident Evil like mommy monsters, and then Leon Kennedy, but again. Those were the notes.
Make his butt bigger. If you walk too fast, the sound of his ass cheeks.
Have you seen the cosplayer who did that?
No.
There's a cosplayer who was dressed as Leon Kennedy.
Like a big ass Leon?
Yeah, no, he was dressed as Leon Kennedy. And he's like doing like some kind of dance or whatever, and he walks away and his ass is just huge.
Leon Kennedy cosplay.
Oh my god. That video got me so good when I saw it. But this is a very whatever acquisition. Like if it works out, great. It's a new studio, so I'm happy that if it works out. Shout out people working together. But
this is excited for this.
Yeah.
Anything else pop up?
No, that's it. We got through everything. I don't think we missed anything. I mean, we missed a little bit. There was like that Xbox showcase, but it just revealed some demos and dates and whatnot. It like shadow dropped or almost nearly shadow dropped Meat Boy Forever or Super Meat Boy 3D. There's the demo for Goldman. Yeah, no, I mean, not a lot. Like, if you want to go watch that, go watch that. Like, that's a hour-long presentation of just, like, a bunch of smaller game announcements and, like, some extra details on, like, the new RGG game that Strangers from Heaven, I believe is what it's called. So, go look at it. Go look at that if you want to. Look, there's some cool stuff there. We don't need to talk about all that, especially since you can go watch all the trailers yourself. Other than that, I mean, not much. You'll be getting this episode on your usual Tuesday, and then I believe Saturday you'll be getting the bonus episode that I recorded with Lou, talking about Pacopia. We went deep on Pacopia, the development behind it, like its changes during its troubled development period, and then just like some general talk about like Pokemon side games and the future of that. Also, Pokemon Champions comes out at the end of this week, so get ready for that to be a topic next week. Maybe it depends on when it comes out, because I think it comes out the 9th, so it'll come out the day we record, so probably won't have thoughts on it next week, but I'll talk about that on stream, because I'll be playing a lot of that regardless of my thoughts on potential format and misuse of release timelines for it, but that'll be a discussion at some point in the future. But yeah, other than that, I mean, there's not much. I mean, there's some cool games coming out soon. Darwin's Paradox just came out. Might end up playing that. Pragmata comes out in 2 weeks. Excited for that.
Yeah.
So,
excited for that.
Just a lot of good stuff going on top of all the garbage.
There's always, as we say every week, there can be a lot of garbage news or upsetting news or shitty news. There's always good games. It's always going to be good games.
Find some good games to play. Play some games with friends. Don't let all the bad news, especially like outside of gaming, just bog you down. Try and find some enjoyment in what you can consume, and don't let ads ruin everything. That's another thing where it's like ads are popping up more and more everywhere. You see the Discord ad stuff? It's not really an ad.
I haven't.
Discord has a game that they had developed, and then they started putting like an ad, a pop-up ad for it on some people's Discord. It happened to me when I booted up my PC the other day to play Battle Golf. And it's like some kind of weird mini MMO, but it popped up like as an ad almost in the top right corner of my Discord.
Oh, that little green leaf that's on top of that? Yeah,
no.
Like some game.
It had something else. Something else popped up, like an actual pop-up for me.
Ooh.
But yeah, that is a game. Yes, that little leaf is a thing to add to a game. So if Discord starts doing that, we're gonna have issues. Especially since I pay for Nitro. I won't be paying for Nitro after this period lapses.
Oh, I gave up Nitro after the what's it called,
I already had it paid for a year.
Yeah, I was like,
so
yeah. And it's like, yeah, like there's certain emotes I like to use, like animated ones. Like there's one in my main Discord. It's we call it the yeah emote, and it's like a guy like nodding like like this. I love using it. But I have to wait till someone else uses it, and then I have to do it. And that's it. That's my cross to bear.
Like, I'm gonna miss
not
like
worth $10-15 a month just to have that.
It isn't. It's also not worth like supporting a company that's probably gonna start screwing people over more. But no, the because like I'm only gonna miss out on like server boosting my server, which like got us more emotes and got us. I don't even use all the emote slots, and I don't like if the soundboard's not only useful in like when you can use it across servers. And like soundboards have gotten really old in terms of like usage. Like, so if I lose some of the soundboard in the server, like I'm not going to cry about it. Who cares?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pay $100 a year.
It doesn't stop Johnny from blasting his sound.
Well, yeah, but Johnny also does it through like his whatever. God, his own, that was a mess and a half during Battle Golf.
I straight up turned him off. Until I heard other people stop talking about it because I knew it was still going. It was getting to be a bit much.
Like I always tell people, it's like I might stream like with our group playing games. I literally don't think I can with Johnny in the call.
No,
because Johnny will just start blasting like copyrighted music or like some crazy stuff, and I'll just be like, "Yep, that ruins the experience." But oh well.
Yeah, the loudest soundboard notifications you've ever heard. But yeah, that's about it. Go Blue. Tonight, we put the Huskies down. They will not win 3 titles in 4 years. We're going to win. We're both supporting Michigan, right?
Yeah.
Because you're wearing you're wearing the big house.
Yeah, wearing the big house stuff. Shout out Michigan. Look, my horse got knocked out round 1. So like Gonzaga, this year I was like, yep. that was
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Throughout this tournament, I have been rooting for UConn because the coach Dan Hurley used to coach University of Rhode Island, my alma mater. And so I consider every UConn championship he's won is by proxy a championship for University of Rhode Island, and you can't convince me
as it should be. Yes.
So the more he wins, the more that's great for Rhode Island. People have been getting confused. I root for Michigan because I was raised a Michigan fan because my mom went, my grandpa went, and I applied but got waitlisted because I don't think I was smart enough. And my grandpa, who would watch every game every Saturday when I go up to visit in summer, when I go up to visit outside of summer during college football season, was watching the games with him every Saturday. Sadly, he passed away just a couple years before they won the national title 2 years ago in football. So if we could win the Natty in football and basketball in a 3-year window, that's like elite. Like I think Florida did it in the same year once.
Yeah.
Like the Joakim Noah year,
Joakim Noah, Al Horford year with the Tebow.
Was it Tebow? Tebow won a Heisman. Did he not win a Natty?
I don't remember.
But they won in like 2006, 2007. They won like one of those 2 years. They won basketball and football in the same year, and so no one's ever done anything else like that, even close to that. So this will be our. But here's the thing: if UConn wins, I'm not going to be that upset about it because then that's another hypothetical championship.
Hypothetical RI championship.
Another hypothetical win for the Rhode Island Rams.
Yeah. I don't know.
Hang the banner.
That's like
Trae Young in the tournament one year. That's our banner.
Oh yeah, you beat Oklahoma. Congratulations.
We beat Oklahoma, which was Trae Young, and that's it.
Yep.
Doing his best.
Yeah, Trae Young doing his best. That's about it. I mean, it's the same thing where it's like Pascal's like I have a similar story where it's like my great grandparents and went to like UNM. So it's like I have like a bunch of Lobos gear laying around places. Whenever I go to like New Mexico, whenever I go to Albuquerque, I try and get like a UNM shirt or something. But I mean, I did the same thing where it's like I went and did a tour of the campus, and the track coach was like, "Yeah, you can come walk on if you want to do track and whatever. You get like the local whatever discount, because your family lives here." And I'm like, "Cool." You know, if I would have done that, probably would have saved money too compared to going to the college I went to.
Well, we're doing so me and the UConn fan are doing what's called an apology bet. So whoever if UConn wins, I have to write an apology to him for like doubting UConn and doubting him. And if Michigan wins, he has to write the apology. In my apology that I've prepared, I'm doing this on purpose. I've pre-written my apology because usually when I do stuff ahead of I have this task I have to do. I'm gonna do this ahead of time. Then I usually don't need it. So I'm hoping by putting the work into writing the apology already, I will not need it because Michigan will win.
Kira thinks you need to write the apology.
If UConn does win, then I put in my apology. I'd also like to apologize to the town of Storrs, Connecticut, where UConn is based, for referring to the town as boring after a visit in 2010, considering I consider going to school there.
I mean, you're probably right.
And I was like, had I not found it boring, had I gone to that school, I would probably be managing a small dairy farm in New England and celebrating our latest national championship with a crisp glass of cold milk.
Scott, your brain works in fascinating ways.
I mean, well, here's the thing. I visited UConn. And pretty much, I was interested in their animal science program, which turns out was very farm centric. And I was like, I don't know if that's exactly what I wanted to do. I was thinking more like research and like wildlife and things like that. Yeah. And when they were talking about like the actual town itself and the college town, the experience, they're like, well, we have our basketball program, and that was pretty much it. That was like the extent of like what's exciting to do in Storrs, Connecticut.
Scott, why don't you?
But hey, yeah, I mean, we five titles since 2011, maybe 6.
Big wins.
Feeling pretty good.
Scott, why don't you come on down to Edmond, Oklahoma? I'll show you a good time in a town that might have more than that.
I was gonna say, like, you said your team was knocked out round 1. Who's your team?
Gonzaga. It's Gonzaga.
It's Gonzaga. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
My grandpa, who's a lifetime basketball coach, he went up, taught and was a basketball coach up in Spokane for a while, and so we're family friends with the former, I believe he's retired now, athletic director at Gonzaga. So we were
awesome.
Gonzaga fans growing up for basketball. Like, it's like if UNM is good, then great. it's like a whatever. That was less of a sports thing and more just like my grandma always had like my great grandma would go to the basketball games a lot, and I had a bunch of UNM gear growing up. But Gonzaga, it's basketball. I've always cheered for Gonzaga basketball. That's why whenever we get one of the white Gonzaga guys in the league, it's like cool, great. Like I remember when one of the first years Olynyk was with the Celtics, they came to town. We went to the game. I did not meet Kelly, but I met was it Paul? I think Phil Pressey is the son. He was like Paul Pressey is it's either Phil Pressey or Paul Pressey. I can't remember which one. Whatever the son, he was on the team that year, and I got to meet him, which is pretty cool.
Oh, awesome.
But
shout out Adam Morrison. Yeah, he cried.
Yeah, he cried. He did.
Two-time NBA champion Adam Morrison.
I will say while we're doing while I've had that fun story, I'll end on this fun thing that I got to do when the Thunder were first here. So this was first year the Thunder were here. My mom was doing physical therapy and massage therapy for OU. And so that was like the year Blake had left to go to the draft. And then the next year the Thunder came here, I'm pretty sure, or something along those lines. And it was probably earlier than that. I don't remember the timelines. Regardless, she was back and forth between like OU, and then she did a little bit of stuff for the Thunder when they were like not at their main facility. And so I got to go to like one of the preseason games or whatever, and we were down on like the baseline level, and she knew she had met Jeff Green before and had met Kevin Durant before, but like Jeff Green is a card. That dude is like super personable. So they come up to me.
Still playing.
Yeah, still playing. Uncle Jeff is still playing in Houston, but with they're actually playing together again, which is hilarious. But
that's right.
Yeah, no,
yeah, it's true.
The two of them came out, and I was probably, God, I don't know how old I was. I was very young, like I was probably 6th grade ish, and they come out and they introduced themselves to me, but they introduced themselves to me and my brother and the people around us as they just swap jerseys, swap names. So so Kevin introduced himself as Jeff introduced himself as Kevin, and they just walked away. They ran the bit with like all the family of the people there, and then they left. And I don't think any of the kids caught on.
That's awesome.
So that was very fun. But yeah, we'll be back next week with more Timesphere. Probably get the bonus episode up on the Saturday you're watching this. So go watch that if you want to hear about Pocopia and some Pokemon stuff. Hopefully next week will be mostly good news. We might do more discussion based next week because we've already
sure
we'll probably talk about some games next week, actual games we've been playing instead of just news. So until then, enjoy your games and have a good one.